All right, guys, 10 tips to save 10 years in property. Now, some of you may think that this is all about saving you time to pay your mortgage faster. Today is going to be a different story. I think we can all Google these things. We can all work out how to put some more money away to pay for that mortgage. Today, I'm going to be challenging that dogma a little bit to show you a few things that you can personally do to actually build up your property portfolio a hell of a lot faster than what the typical Aussie battler does, yeah? So before we get started, the typical financial planner with a disclaimer, this is all general information only, not to be taken as personal advice. If you'd like to get personal advice, please give me a call or one of the other financial planners. There's about 16,000 here in Australia. Good luck finding someone as good as me, though. All right, moving on. The agenda for today, this is what we're going to be talking about. So who we are, what we do as a business, and then how to save decades of pain in property to ensure that you actually achieve your financial goals and your lifestyle goals at the same time. Very, very important, right? And obviously Q&A at the very back end of this thing, very important so that you guys can clarify exactly any kind of questions you may have throughout the whole process. So who are we and what do we stand for? So we started in 2016 as Plenitude Wealth. Ultimately, off the back of this particular book right here, this changed my life. Reading about Elon Musk, the guy who was one of the founders of Tesla, SpaceX, trying to get us as humans onto Mars. And I was thinking to myself, okay, what was I doing at the time? I was working at a financial planning firm, focused on profits, helping their clients, but nothing more than that. So I figured, well, what about me? What am I going to try and do? It's nice to build wealth for myself, for my clients, but ultimately I'm trying to make a change as well. So we figured, you know what? My wife and I figured we'd pull the plug on the old financial planning firm and start our own one with a bit of a mission behind it. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is build financial literacy in Australia. So we're trying to spread as much information out there to ensure that people can actually put some practical steps in their finances so that they can actually achieve their lifestyle and financial goals, right? One of the key goals that we have is to educate 1 million people before we reach the 10-year mark. We're 3 years in. So we've educated about 20,000 people so far. So we're a few thousand short. So if you'd like to share some of the stuff that I've got on social media, please do. I would love some help on that front. So the idea for us is to build a community of multimillionaire philanthropists. Right? If we can share a bunch of ideas and topics and strategies and tactics for you guys to build your wealth over the generations, what will happen is it'll increase the likelihood, as far as we're concerned, for you guys as the audience and as Australians to actually support specific causes that you believe in. That's the big push for us, right? So we're specialists in structure and strategy. We eat our own cooking. It's really as simple as that, guys. We know what we do because we do what we say we do, right? So that's back, forward. A little bit about myself. So I started off in science. So I used to be a biomedical science researcher, did a bit of cancer biology, a little bit of developmental biology, until I caught the investment bug. And basically I was looking at the people 5, 10, 15 years ahead of me and thought to myself, I'm not really cut out for this. I'm not 100% passionate about it. To stay in science and to be competitive, you got to be hell-bent and obsessed with what you're doing. I wasn't. I was obsessed with freedom, lifestyle, spending time with my wife, experiencing what the world has to offer, right? Did my first renovation, bought my first house, did a renovation, got about $70,000 worth of upside within a 3-month period and thought to myself, this is interesting. Might look into it a little bit further. So essentially, to cut the long story short, I looked at science as a career and looked at finance as a career and thought, you know what? I'm going to make a change. From science to finance, just like that, not really just like that, over a 3 to 4 year period, studied a Master of Commerce at UQ, and essentially made my way and created, and with my wife, created 3 little munchkins, and they're gorgeous girls, 3 girls, 3, a 1-year-old and a 3-month-old. If you want to see the 3-month-olds, please feel free to come visit us at E19. I'm sure she'll be happy to say good day, unless she's sleeping, of course. So ultimately, what we're trying to do in life is to focus on 3 core things, right? So there's time, health, and wealth. What I always try and get people to do is to consider their short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals associated with their time, health, and wealth. There are far too many people focusing on their wealth side of things and dropping their time and their health factor. right? It doesn't make sense to be the richest person in the cemetery, right? It's about experiencing life. So if you can find that balance across those things by writing down those lifestyle and financial goals, create a timeline for yourself, it makes your life a hell of a lot easier, and it actually increases the likelihood of you achieving those particular goals. It's really as simple as that, basic stuff. But if you can actually write that down, talk to your partner, talk to your parents, talk to your friends about it, and own that thing, it'll increase the likelihood of you achieving this, right? So off the back of that, all of the topics that I'm going to be covering today will be based on achieving all of these three things. Very, very important thing, right? Financial decision-making framework. So a little bit of maths, a little bit of finance stuff. I won't bore you with too much more other than these three things. If you can take this away today, I think you'll be a much better investor. Understand what your return on investment is on your net asset position. Understand what is the risk-free return that you can get today. What do you have available to you? For some of us, it's an access account at 0.01% return per annum. For some of us, it's a saving account for 1.8%, 2% maybe. Others have a mortgage, and you can put it in an offset account that's saving you 4 to 5% after tax. Yeah? So you got to ask yourself, what is it? You want to increase your risk-free as high as possible so that your return on investment is much higher than that, so you get that capital growth and you're getting that compounding effect for your wealth curve. Cost of capital is essentially as low as possible, the debt associated with your portfolio. Moving on to the 10 tips. First tip, run your own race, right? Very, very important. Since we're in a property expo, most people are hell-bent on how many properties they own, right? It's not about how many properties you own. It's about how is your future looking because of the assets that you currently own, right? Is it actually going to achieve your financial and lifestyle goals, or will it actually slow you down? Some people are hell-bent on building a 5, 10, 15, 30 property portfolio, but don't realize that the rest of their lives actually crumbling apart, right? Very important to get it right. And ultimately, you want to set yourself up so that your net asset position right here increases over time to hit your ideal income. So I want to ask you guys today to think about a number that you would like to achieve as a portfolio passive income. What number would that be on a year-to-year basis? Is it $50,000 to replace some of your income? 60, 70, 80, 100, $200,000? Set yourself these goals, right? What I've done is to set myself 3 particular goals: survive goal, a strive goal, and a thrive goal. Ultimately, as a finance individual, you need to consider 2 things: income and capital. On the back end of your journey, you need to be able to pull a lever, use your capital to create an income for yourself. Very, very important. So you ultimately need to set yourself a few targets. If you can go away from this thing and set yourself a few targets, you know what point B is. It increases the likelihood of you achieving those goals. So what is it? Survive, strive, and thrive. So for example, if you've got a survive income goal of $80,000 per year, you got to ask yourself, what kind of return on investment would you need to produce $80,000 per year, right, of income? What I typically do is I multiply it out by 20. 80 times 20, right, is that 1.6 mil. So you need 1.6 mil to produce that $80,000. How are you going to get there? That's the big question. Most people dig their head in the sand and listen to the taxi driver. No offense, taxi driver, but they don't really have a clue how to run their finances, right? Choose the people that influence you wisely, because most people have a negative financial story in their heads, yeah? So make sure you get this right, set some goals, be audacious about your goals, and actually try and move one step closer to your goals on a year-to-year basis. Consistency is key. Tip number 2, borrowing capacity is a resource that most people ignore, right? You need to understand as an investor, the borrowing capacity, your borrowing capacity is one of the resources on top of the income that you're able to earn, is one of the most powerful resources that you can use in your life. Yeah? So use it wisely. Make sure that you use that borrowing capacity, you borrow money, use other people's money, i.e. the banks, right? Use the bank's money wisely to ensure that you're getting a solid return on investment on your capital and return on investment on your borrowing capacity. Very different way of thinking, but if you can incorporate this in your life, you can actually kick some serious goals with your finances, right? Don't waste it on tax incentives, right? Someone approached me earlier today talking about buying new because of the tax incentives. I don't know about you, but I'd rather build my wealth, I should say, than to save $10,000, $15,000 of tax year on year. You're practically leaving 7 to 10 years on the table if you do something wrong, right? Back to your survive, strive, thrive number. Ultimately, the sooner you get to these numbers, the better off you're going to be. I think that's fairly obvious, right? So if you can save yourself 10 years as per all of the tips that I'm providing you guys today, you can actually, theoretically, if you get to your thrive or strive or survive income number, if let's hypothetically say you get there 10 years earlier and your goal is $50,000, you've basically pocketed $500,000 sooner than old mate down the road who was basically doing normal status quo strategies. Right, so today it's about kind of expanding your ideas a little bit, making sure that you understand the power of opportunity cost. You do not want to rack up opportunity costs over your investment career because it is the #1 killer of dreams here in Australia and all around the world. Okay, borrowing capacity. Now, control versus ownership. So tip number 8 is the leapfrog strategy. That's one of the best things that you can consider as a property investor, right? Using borrowing capacity as a resource to ensure that you actually kick some serious ass in this property game. Control versus ownership. This is a paradigm that I always share every single time I present. Most people want to own their properties outright. I am hell-bent on controlling all of the upside in a property, right? So if the cost of capital, let's hypothetically say, is 4% per annum, and the return on investment is 5% per annum, right? In terms of the growth, and the yield or the rent that you can get is approximately 4 to 5%, practically paying off the cost of capital, right? So all you're doing is holding onto the property for the long term and getting all of the upside with leverage. And we'll go through the calculations that's associated with that and the returns on investment you can get just by switching your thinking a little bit. Most people are hell-bent about the old way of thinking. If you can switch your thoughts, you can change your strategy and you can change your result dramatically within a year or two. The idea here is to understand that doubling your net assets is based on the rule of 72. If you can get a return on investment as high as possible, i.e., let's say 15%, it'll take you 5 years to double your net asset position, right? 15% year in, year out will double your net asset position in 5 years. If you get currently 5%, it'll take you 14.5 years. If it's 2% for some of us in the room, I'm sure some of you guys are guilty on that, it'll take you 36 years to double your net asset position. So very important to understand this thing, because if you don't get it right, the opportunity cost stacks up and you're costing yourself years and years of your survive, strive, and thrive income and capital goals. Very important. Control versus ownership. Most people are really scared of having too much debt. I get it, right? You have to understand 2 exposures in finances. There's the capital exposure and there's the income exposure. If you can lower it by putting some strategies in place to ensure that you don't get caught with your pants down with this thing, you'll be just fine, right? You can create a portfolio that'll grow over time, right? So if you want to get these slides, please feel free to reach out to us. I've got a slide later on and I'll share this with you. LVR and structuring. So this is where the return on investment comes into play. Ultimately, if you're looking to buy an investment property, and just simplifying the maths a little bit for you, if you're putting 100% down, you're buying a $500,000 property with $500,000 and it grows at 4.72% per annum over that 15-year period, it'll double in value. That same property, if you put a deposit down of 20%, the return on investment is 12.68 on the $100,000 that you put in. What if you put down a 10% deposit of $50,000? That return on investment is now 17.33% compounding over that 15-year period. Some of us here are capable of buying a house with as little as 5% down. The return on investment on that is 22.5% compounding. Doubling your net asset base, if that is all you have, within a 2 to 3 year period, right? Now imagine, some of my clients do this. If you can get into a property, buy a property with 0 down, what kind of return on investment would you get then? Any takers? 500 million%, right? No, you can't divide by 0. So you pretend you put $1 down, right? Obviously there are miscellaneous costs. I'm making it very, very simple. Let's say you put 5 grand down to get into your first $500,000 property, no stamp duty. The return on investment is ridiculous. You just got to know what property to buy, right? Which moves us to the next particular step. It's understanding what to buy it under, what kind of entity to buy it under. Buy it under your name, a trust, an SMSF. You've got a whole range of options. You just need to know what options you have available to you. It's really as simple as that. Tip number 5, play 2 games in property. There's 2 games. You've got to be good at both of them. You can get lucky in one and get a result. Most people are unlucky in both and scratch their head and wonder what the hell happened, right? There are 3 kinds of people in life. Those people that make things happen, those people who watch things happen, and those people who wonder what the hell happened, right? You want to get to the stage where you're making things happen, yeah? Play 2 games. There's a macro game, understanding the economics associated with it, supply and demand, right? Get it right by getting the suburb right. Get it right by buying below median. Get it right by understanding what you're working with, right? Micro, taking advantage of the inefficiencies in the market. What does that mean? Strategy, right? Negotiating well, understanding the motivators of the seller, right? Drilling them down in the negotiation, adding value to the property potentially, right? Adding some serious value and get a massive return on investment on your capital, right? More than 22% is what I'm talking about here, yeah? So that's the key. So what we're doing here is we've actually done a research project where we've mapped out the best performing suburbs for Brisbane, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Logan, Ipswich, Redland Bay and Moreton Bay, all in a property heat map like this. So if you'd like to get this information, please feel free to go to plenitudewealth.com.au/special offer, and we'll provide you with this stuff free of charge, no issues whatsoever. Hopefully it'll empower you to kick some serious butt in your finances with your investment journey. Right, so we've got the Southeast Queensland growth heat map as well. This is Moreton Bay. So what we've done is we've highlighted the outliers, the outperforming suburbs within those particular councils, all for free, so that you guys can kick some serious ass. That's what it's all about, right? Kick some goals, make it happen. Tip number 6, stop upgrading. The average Australian will upgrade 3 to 5 times, 3 to 7 times, I should say, in their lifetime. Every single time you upgrade that house, it's costing you 3% in real estate fees. And then it's costing you all of the upside if you held on to that property, right? Most of us here have parents who have sold off 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 houses in their lifetime. What if they just held on to 1 or 2 of those? Imagine if they hold on to 3 or 4 of those over their lifetime. They'll be multi-millionaires. It's really as simple as that. So understanding what is your risk exposures, your capital exposure and your income exposure, and balancing it all out is very, very important, right? Some people freak out about having so much debt, but is it really that bad? Ultimately, you just got to do the maths and work out what is the risk. Is it a capital risk or is it a income risk? If it's both, risk mitigate against it and ensure that you're kicking some serious ass in your investment journey, right? Stop upgrading. Too many people do it. And you know, they do it because taxi driver or their friends think it's the best way to do it because it's the only way. So I challenge that. What if you put a tenant in there? How much is it going to cost you on a year-to-year basis? Can you get a cash out loan and move that deposit onto your next property? Right? These are the things that you've got to consider as an investor because it actually opens up massive possibilities and massive optionalities for you in the future. Very important stuff, guys. Okay, manufacture value. Now, when you're looking to manufacture value, one of the key rules that I always tell my clients is to buy underneath the median price. Do we all know what the median price is? Yes? Can I get a show of hands? Hey, okay, we know what the median price is. Fantastic. So you want to buy underneath the median price, renovate to get it at or above the median price for as little down as possible. cosmetic reno, quick liquor paint, bit of landscaping, maybe the floors. It's really as simple as that, and you can add some serious value onto your house, right? So you can add $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 onto it. We did a $12,000 renovation and added $150,000 to the bottom line on a property. 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, put in 12 grand, made it a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, and boom, 150 grand of soft equity in the property. Guess what we did with that? We did a cash out loan, we pulled out about $70,000 and went on to buy our next investment property. Very interesting stuff if you know what you're doing. But if you understand what are the risks associated with it, it makes it a hell of a lot easier to actually pull the trigger on this thing, right? Adding value is very, very important. If you can buy a property with development potential, I was just sharing with a lady before, if you're looking for tax breaks, buy a property with massive land, right? With huge development potential. What's going to happen is the yield, the rent that you're going to get is very, very low. Therefore, low rent, high cost gives you a tax break, right? If you're earning a high income, it gives you that tax break, tax deduction. So you've got to ask yourself, how does it work within your context? Yeah? There are a bunch of questions that you need to understand to ensure that you're moving forward with confidence with this thing. Because the game is trying to get to your survive, strive, thrive, income and capital goals ASAP. If you can save yourself 5, 10, 15, 20 years, most people never even get there, yeah? If you can save yourself years and years of that, you're basically pocketing some serious dollars, yeah? Land bank with high potential, that's a big one. If you can buy at a suburb, for example, in Logan or Mawson Bay at $400,000 with development potential, sit on it for 7 or 10 years, right? Develop it then, or sell it to a developer at a massive premium because of the development potential. It just makes sense. If it's costing you 2 to 3 grand per year to hold on to this thing, hey, why the hell not, right? It's an option. Most people ignore it because they don't know what the hell they're doing, right? Go, next. Tip number 8, the leapfrog strategy. Instead of upgrading to pull out your equity, what you can do is you can get a cash out loan or a line of credit to pull some equity out. The sweet spot is 80%. If you can get 80% loan to value ratio, you can borrow up to 80% any time of the day typically, right? With banks. Pull that cash out, right? And use that for a deposit for your next investment property. A holiday if you're really into that. Obviously it's a possibility, right? You can start your own business. You can free yourself some time to study, to rejig your career, whatever it may be. The key is to understand that there are multiple levers with your finances to ensure that you're actually living a balanced life, achieving your lifestyle and financial goals. The idea of the leapfrog strategy here is the properties will pay for itself and will allow you to pull the equity out on a year-to-year basis or every 2 years to ensure that you're acquiring more properties as time progresses. The idea is you're not having to save any more money because you're buying the right property, one, and you're talking to the right finance people, two, and you're ensuring that it's structured the best way so that you're pulling out the equity going again and again and again and again until your projections are so much so that you're really, really happy with it, and then you change strategies. You flip the tack a little bit, right? So it's just understanding where you're heading. What are your goals? What's the timeline look like? How many years do you want to achieve this thing, right? That's the key. Number 9, do not buy new, right? This may be a contentious topic here in this particular building right now because everyone's trying to sell you brand spanking new properties. Buy my new property, woo! Not gonna happen. Because if you buy a new property, what's gonna happen is it'll take you 7 to 10 years before it reaches any kind of capital growth potential. Do the sums, do your research. It's scary as all hell. The government will tell you to buy with the first homeowner's grant just to entice you with a little bit of a $15,000 carrot. Not realizing if you go down that path, it'll cost you 7 to 10 years of your investment career. 7 to 10 years on your survive, strive, thrive numbers is freaking huge, right? If it's a $100,000 goal that you've got, 7 years is worth $700,000 of income to you. I suggest you beware, buyer beware, right? Make sure that you understand the upside. Don't get in because of the tax reasons. The accountant will tell you how to save tax. They won't tell you how to build wealth. Very important. Understand the biases of every single advisor that you have in front of you, right? Everyone's got a bias. Work that out. Make sure that they're on board with what you're trying to do. 7 to 10 years to catch up. Increasing your opportunity cost once more. Crazy, crazy stuff, right? If there's one thing that I'd love for you to take away is do not get into this thing. Make sure the numbers stack up if you do get into it. I'm not saying all of it's bad, but damn, at least 95% is bad, right? Tip number 10, the property sweet spot. Ultimately, you want to structure your finances so that the property is not costing you any money. You're getting all of the upside. You can pull out 80% of the upside, invest again, until such a stage where your projections or your wealth is something that's actually sustainable, something that you're happy with, right? Like some of us here in the room want to become multi-billionaires. We don't all have to be there. We can be happy with 5 mil in the bank. We can be happy with 2 mil in the bank. It's okay to aim for those kinds of numbers. We don't have to be the next bloody Jeff Bezos, you know? It's okay. It's about living a comfortable life. Yeah? That's all it is. So, property cash flow. If you can get to the neutral position where it's not costing you anything, fantastic. You're holding on to an asset that's got massive growth potential. And if it grows, you win. If it doesn't, you hold on to it. It's not costing you anything, right? You build your other strategies. You invest in the share market when you can, right? You dollar cost average there. You build up your property portfolio. You use your borrowing capacity as a resource. And you build up your strategies with multiple pillars. Most people have one pillar, right? And what happens is a diving board strategy. What you want to do is, has anyone been to Italy? Here, hands up. You've seen the Pantheon? Multiple pillars holding on to the roof of this thing. You want multiple pillars on your investment strategy to ensure that you actually achieve your lifestyle and financial goals. Very, very important, right? If you can amplify your returns by strategically putting debt into your portfolio, you can kick some serious butt. Information and action is power. We've got a little special offer happening in our E19 booth over there. But if you'd like to skip the line, there's going to be a massive line, obviously. If you want to skip the line, go to plenitudewealth.com.au/special offer to get all of this information, the heat map, the suburb list, one-on-one consultation with me, complimentary. Happy to sit down with all of you, obviously, within business hours. Don't make me work out of business hours because my girls will absolutely kill me. I've got 3 girls for some of you who missed out on that. 3 little girls, that is. 3 baby girls, yes. And my wife will definitely kill me if you got me to work after hours. But I will happily sit down with all of you to talk about finance, talk about your options, all free of charge. Happy to go. We're not going to get everyone as clients, that's for sure. But I want to educate every single one of you. So if you want to spend time with me, happy to do so, yeah? Happy to do that. Connect with me here. These are my handles. Thank you very much for your time. I will accept any question you may have in the audience. Thank you very much. A round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you.